Welcome to something to talk about.
Yeah, really loud.
Welcome to something to talk about.
Hi, welcome to something to talk about, and this is the thing you clicked on. It is my season 2, episode 4 review of House of the Dragon, called The Red Dragon and the Gold. This isn't just a review. Well, it is mostly just a review. It's me just yelling at you about nerd stuff. And also it's going to talk about major differences. So, yeah, spoilers for this episode if you don't want to hear them. I won't spoil past it, but I will talk about the books a little bit too. I tried to get these out on Tuesday. It didn't work out that way. It's coming out on Wednesday, so it's a day late, but it absolutely isn't $1 short because I have way more slides than I normally do. I think I do like 2 or 3 normally. This is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 slides. Let's get into them. Spoilers! Tripping balls. That's what I'm calling the first one. Tripping balls. Starting off with Daemon tripping balls and imagining he's in the throne room, and then he kills a teenage Rhaenyra while she's like walking away from the throne. That's a lot of symbolism in your acid trip, Daemon. At first, it's like she's calling out in Valyrian, but you can't see her. It's just the throne calling out to him. So he's like, oh, the throne wants me. I want to be king. And then you see her. And it's like, yeah, but she became heir instead of him. And he then kills her. I guess it's not that hard to figure that symbolism out. some symbolism. Some acid trips are a little easier to figure out than normal. They got that good stuff in Harrenhal. And then she turns into Simon Strong, telling him that there's a raven. The raven tells of Fiston Pole's army. That's a Lord Commander / Hand of the King, Fisty, marching on them. Oscar shows up to meet Simon and Daemon. He speaks about how Grover, Oscar Tully's grandpa, being old and not wanting to call his banners. Oscar does not want to go around Grover's head, right? Oscar may be a grouch, but he also, he's not a bad grandson. So he's like, no, he doesn't want to call his banners yet, and I don't want to go around his head. And then Daemon's like, I'll call your banners for you then. And that's pretty much what Daemon does. So Daemon takes it upon himself to call the Blackwoods himself. I wrote that twice for some reason. We jump over to Driftmark, seeing Alyn of Hull meet Rhaenys, and she admits to Corlys that she knows who he is. And then she warns Corlys that Rhaenyra's council has grown into a bunch of old buttholes. They are, since she left. They're just being buttholes. Finally, we get to go see Team Green with Alicent ordering some tea for a friend. Don't worry about it. Yeah, it's definitely not for her. Definitely. So it's for my friend. It is moon tea, not for me, for my friend. So you think I should drink it on a full stomach and add some lemon? I mean, should my friend? We know who it's for. Come on. Yeah, and then she asks Grand Maester Orwell, she's like, hey, do you think that Viserys, like whatever name Aegon, like do you think that he thought of Aegon as his heir? And Orwell's like, I don't know, and then he runs away. Like Orwell's kind of always been more of like a poulticey Healy type. He's not really much of a politician. He got there because, he pretty much became Grand Maester because the Grand Maester before him just kept leeching Viserys. And finally, Orwell's like, can I give him some aspirin? And the Maester's like, yeah, you can give him a little bit of aspirin. And then he gets better. And then Viserys is like, yeah, you got Grand Maester written all over you. And Orwell's like, not really. I'm just a better healer. But yeah, not much of a politician, that Orwell. Where was I? So yeah, he runs off. She then slams the tea, the very thing she judged Rhaenyra for while they were younger. Yeah, there's some hypocritical thing, right? Where when she was younger, and then Rhaenyra like went and had some relations, and Alicent's like, hey, did you have relations? And Rhaenyra's like, no. And then she finds out later that she lied and that she went and got moon tea, and that's the only, she got moon tea sent to her. So she's like, okay, I'm gonna let this entire giant cataclysmic void happen between me and her and split up the family and create two factions at court so it can eventually lead to a giant civil war because you lied. And then 30 years later, she's like, yeah. Hypocritical. Yeah. All right, let's get to some councils. Let's start with the Black Council. So the Black Council is just old angry dudes. I said duds. Well, they're duds too. That don't have dragons, being mad at Bela for not killing people with her dragon. Yeah, they're just obsessed with dragons. They're like, can you go and use it? And she's like, no, I was told I can't use my dragon right now. And they're like, can anyone use their dragon? And she's like, what are you, just a bunch of old dudes with dragon fetishes? And they're like, yeah, that's what we are. That's why we joined the Black Council. Well, I guess the Greens have dragons too, but I don't know. Maybe they're into these ones. Maybe I don't know. Maybe Maylee's is better looking than Vagar. I'm not into that. These old guys are though. Where yeah, and one of them makes an orgy joke. See, they're sick, and the rest ask Bela about Daemon. And they're like, well, have you heard about your dad? And she's like, we don't have that kind of a father-daughter relationship. He doesn't talk to me. Like, come on. So, yeah. And then finally, Corley steps in and brings the hammer down on these lame dudes, calling them lame dudes, as Rainey scolds them for just sucking. You guys suck. And then we jump to the aftermath of a battle. And Cole, Crispy Cole, Fist and Pole, by the way, telling House Darklyn, well, what's left of House Darklyn, to bend the knee. And then Lord Darklyn spits in Crispy's face and says some awesome stuff before Crispy cuts his head off. Yeah, it's pretty something. I do love that, like, Cole, calls, what does he call Rhaenyra, like, the whore of dragons? Just awful stuff. And then he kills freaking Lord Darklyn. What a muddle. I guess this is war, but it's only war because you're doing a war. We didn't have to do a war. You can't show up in my house, kill everybody, and be like, hey, that's what happens in a war. And it's like, yeah, but you didn't have to do a war. You could have stayed behind your castle. But whatever. There is a funny moment when Gawain is talking trash to Cole, and it cuts to Aegon saying, F-word you. I'm not gonna say it. I'm trying not to swear. Maybe I already did. But it's like one of those Archer like jump cut jokes where he's like, Kristen Cole, you suck. And it's you. Cut. I love it. Good editing on this guy, on these shows. I don't know anything about editing, but these guys do. Aegon is pissed that Daemon took Harrenhal, yelling to Larys, it's your castle. Larry's like, yeah, but I don't go there. Yeah, that was awesome. Then Aemon stands up and shows them that he actually knows how to war. He's like, somebody's here has to know how to war. And Aegon is pissed that Aemon is hotter and is talking to Cole behind his back. Yeah, Cole, he's like, hey, Cole's my hand of the king. And now he's like, sending ravens behind my back to you, but he said I was the pretty one, but you're not. You're missing an eye. You're not the pretty one. And Aemon's like, oh, I'm the pretty one. Can't you tell? Yeah, no, it's great. He's like, no, this eye patch helps. Trust me. Yeah, and then so Aemon drops a bunch of truth bombs on him in Valyrian, and yeah, for some reason, Aemon just like very confidently just speaking Valyrian was pretty hot. So yeah, he is the hot one. What? Come on, what can I say? I'm into psychopaths. I'm into war criminals. I'm not. I have a wife who is not a war criminal, and she's not a psychopath. She's more my style than Aemon. I'd hang out though. So he makes his older brother and the king, right, look like a child in front of his council. This has to be payback for him being embarrassed at the brothel, where he's like, oh, you can make fun of me in front of sex workers? I'm going to go to your small council. I'm going to make you look like the child you are, sonny. That's what he did. All right, man. Jojen paste. Here we are. Larys then visits Allison to creep on her and talk about indulgences and Fisty. So she's there to talk about indulgences and Christian Cole, and yeah, it's more hinting at things, right? Larry says, Larry's, he doesn't say this. He may be so bolds at her, right? And asks why the queen has been grieving over so many deaths and tragedies and why she's all sad and stuff. He's like, hey, may I be so bold? And she's like, I guess if you have to may be so bold. And he goes, well, if I may be so bold, what's wrong? And she's like, oh, I don't know. Husband died, grandchild died. What are you, deaf? Not deaf. Blind? I don't know. I don't think being deaf or blind would make you blind to tragedy. That's ableist. Larry's is just a loser. There you go. Done. Where was I? Wait, no, I'm way past. I'm way before that. So, yeah. Back to Harrenhal, where they put Woodstock quality acid in the water. Heck yeah, let's go. Let's party. Daemon wakes up to Daemon One Eye wandering around. Man, this acid's strong. And then he runs into Alyn Rivers, who is definitely not chopping up a tiny Crannogman and putting him into a poultice or a potion. Don't worry about it. There's no blood here. All right. So he finally goes and talks to her. She explains how weirwood trees were cut down to make this place, and that makes it cursed. She calls herself a barn owl in human form. That has to be a tongue-in-cheek way of saying that she's a warg. She just straight up says, oh, what would I know? I'm a warg. I mean, I'm a joke. I'm joking. What? She asked Daemon about Daemon's marriage to his niece and talking about how it's hard to be obedient to the person who replaced you as heir. Yeah, she's just stirring crap up. She gives him some sweet drugs to help him sleep. Yeah, I got a thing for this. You got to watch out.
You're a witch and you made it disappear with your evil magic.
Yeah, she's a witch, man. You like clearly. Anytime somebody is like at night mixing up a potion and he's like, man, all these visions, and she's like, drink this. I'd be like, no, I'm not drinking that. I don't trust you. I don't even know you. I'm important. He could have just been poisoned. He was suspicious about the peas from Simon Strong, who does not look like a witch. And then the witch-looking chick's like, drink this. He's like, we're better than peas, am I right? I think Obo just doesn't like peas. Okay, where was I? So she's like, so I heard your marriage is bad. Drink this. But yeah, it makes him time jump. What? And he finds himself talking to Willem Blackwood. And Willem is like, I tried to bang your niece/wife before you married your cousin or before she married your cousin/brother-in-law, so we cool, yo. It's pretty much what he says. Oh man, Willem's like, I once murdered a Bracken, almost started my own civil war, so I get it. What? Willem, what are you doing here? Yeah. He then sees, he as in Daemon, sees his dead wife pouring tea. So he keeps seeing his old lovers, except for Rhea Royce. Yeah, he's just ignoring that one, the one he killed. He's like, man, I'm seeing all my old lovers. They're haunting me. Is the one that you murdered haunting you? No, just the ones I manipulated. I don't know. Maybe, I don't know. All right, so I need some of that stuff. So was that Jojen paste? That's got to be all right. I'm calling it Jojen paste. Yeah, clearly the character who's not born yet wasn't cut up and put into this. But I think this is weirwood paste. If you don't know what I'm talking about, weirwood paste is something that Bran drinks in his final chapter in the Dance of Dragons in the books, right? And it's supposed to awaken his green seer magic. And it's described a lot like how this potion, like very red, looks like blood. She definitely got some weird stuff that she put in. They tell him it's made out of weirwood seeds, but there's a big fan theory that it's actually made of Jojen, as in Jojen Reed. So I don't actually think there's a a chronic men in this potion, but is this weirwood paste? And the second I knew, I was like, yeah, I better message Michael Talks about stuff like, hey dude, you see the Jojen paste? He's like, yeah, I'm making a video for it. I'm like, okay, cool. He's like, yeah, no, I'm writing it already. I'm like, episode's not even over yet. Oh man, love that, man. Okay, so yeah, Jojen paste. Willem says that the Blackwoods will be his if he just brings Justin to the Brackens. And then I guess Daemon is just so high he doesn't mind that his vassal is telling him what to do. Maybe. He's like, I don't like your tone, but I'm pretty messed up right now. Neutral Jing. No one's going to get these references or that reference, but here we go. Oh, no, a couple people will. Aemon plays with his ball in his small council. He's just playing with the ball. And he smacks the ball on the table, and he tells them that they bore him. He's like, I'm bored. No, yeah, well, be better king. No, be better, be more interesting. Do some voices or something, small council. He storms out to see his mommy, and he tells who tells him to stop removing books because, you know, there's a whole thing about like Rhaenyra tells Alicent last episode, like, hey, like the prophecy, like he was talking about a prophecy, read books, yo. And she's like, fine, I guess I will. We're not stopping our war. And then she's like, hey, you got any more books? You need stop removing the prophecy books. Apparently they're important. We should be reading them. And he goes, I can't read. Probably not. He probably can read. He just stinks. He cries that his small council, Aemon and Christy, don't listen to him. She gives him a lesson that the crown doesn't make the king, right? You are the king, but you have to make, like, just putting a crown on your head doesn't all of a sudden make you a wise leader, right? She tells him that she had low expectations, and he's not even meeting those. I'm paraphrasing, but that's pretty much what she said. It's like, I knew you would suck, but yeesh. He threatens her, and he threatens her to tread lightly, and she's like, or what? Yeah, that's an awesome scene with really great acting. Amazing, both of them. So such good performances. I mean, this whole show, but specifically this scene right now. Alicent tells Aegon to back off and to practice neutral jing, which means to do nothing. You know, I'm getting that reference. Okay, just seek counsel from the people who actually know what to do, like her and Otto. I won't go that far, but that's what Alicent says. Jump back to Fiston's army. Gawain is washing his face or something, and then Cole is like, "Bitter batter, let's get at her." And Cole's like, says, Rook's rest, won't see an attack in broad daylight coming. And Gawain's like, yeah, they won't expect it because it's effing madness. I'm starting to like Gawain. He tells them, like, there's dragons, like, right over there, right? He goes, we're not going during the day. There's dragons, like, you can hear them. They're right over there. And Cole's like, yeah, you don't know the plan that I'm not telling anybody because I haven't told you. So just, right? And he goes, are you afraid? And Gawain says, I'm worse. I'm irrational. Do you afraid? Kinda. A baller line. He's winning me over. Yeah, Gawain's kind of winning me over. I'm kind of liking Gawain. What are you, chicken? Yeah, a smart chicken. Back off. All right, Rook's rest. Rook's rest. I know my voice kind of went up there. Mommy comes home to Jace telling the council that they need to send a dragon. He's like, all right, I know we haven't been wanting to do a dragon thing, but we're going to have to do a dragon thing. And then she comes in like, what was that? And he's like, I'm sorry, Mom, but when you were gone, things happened. We need to do a dragon thing. Yeah, when she asks why, Jace gives her some attitude, and he's going to get sent home for treason, or sent to his room for treason without supper. She's like, yeah, that's a little bit of treason, and you're going to be grounded, mister, and I am not joking. Right? They tell the queen, and Sir Darklyn, by the way, right? Stefan Darklyn is her Lord Commander, I believe, of the Queen's Guard, who's right next to her, about Cole Fistin the Crownlands and Stefan Darklin finds out that his dad is dead. Brutal. And then just move right past it. It's like, yeah, your dad died screaming. So Rook's rest, and Stefan's like, oh my God, what? You did? And I'm not the heir? Because I did it for this dumb cloak? I don't know. Maybe he's not an elder or something. Maybe I'm sure there's an heir or something. Darklins don't die until later, right? Okay. Jace is pissed that his mom left home alone without telling anybody. And she tells them that she met with Alicent and now knows that we need to do a war. She's like, I don't want to do a war. I've been telling you guys I don't want to do a war. And I thought it was a little messed up. And then I went and I talked to Alicent and yeah, we need to do a war. And they're like, yeah, we're at a war council. We've been doing a war. Your husband went and started one already. He's over there doing a war. Yeah. So, yeah, we're all finally on the same page. War. Good God, yo. She learns about Rook's rest, and then she decides to send a dragon. Rhaenyra wants to go herself, and then Jace is like, no, let me go, Mom. And then finally, Rhaenys is like, no, I'll go. So she volunteers. Let's go. Book readers were like, here it comes, because we knew how this episode was going to end, and I was jacked for it. Oh, jacked up. Oh, hopped up on dragon snacks. I don't know. Scooby snacks? There we go. All hopped up on Scooby snacks. All right. Where was I? Running around, robbing banks, all hopped up on Scooby snacks. Oh, that was a core memory. Okay. Where was I? So Rhaenyra, so as it like goes, as you see the army like starting to like mount and it's all like about to happen, right? Rhaenyra finally tells Jace about the song Hot and Cold by Katy Perry, right? She's like, oh, let me tell you the song about Aegon of Ice and Fire. It's called Hot and Cold by Katy Perry. And then she sings lyrics to the Katy Perry classic as Rhaenyra gets on her dragon, or Rhaenys gets on her dragon. It's pretty cool. It's a cool scene. Where was I? It's mixed with the queen that ever was mounting Rhaenys, the Red Queen, and Cole marching to Rook's Rest. Super cool. Yeah, it's a really cool scene. All jokes aside. The bowmen of Rook's Rest are great. They don't say fire. They say loose. That's what you're supposed to say. The Queen's men and Cole spring Vagar's trap, right? And Aemon makes it a threesome on Sunfire. Yeah, we're going to have a bunch of dragons. This is going to be a really good, amazing dragon fight. You know why it's going to be an amazing dragon fight? Simply one reason.
This isn't Game of Thrones.
Ow!
No, this is House of Dragon. Let's go! All right, man. Dancing. Some epic charge between Melees and Sunfire, right? As they like start coming after each other. All right, so where was I? So Melees is charging at Sunfire as Aemon tries to use flamethrower, right? Here, I got a clip of it, right? He goes, Sunfire, use flamethrower, right? And then he forgets that but he forgets though Sunfire is pretty cool. Melees is much bigger, so she has Melees use slash attack. Well, I guess it's probably more of a dragon claw because then she gets a same type attack bonus, right? There's a clip of that, right? And then finally Granny Vagar shows up, and so Granny Vagar shows up, and though like Sunfire is in the, or Aegon is in the way, right? Aemon uses Fire Blast, right? Here, I got a clip of that too. Boom! Yeah, it's a Fire Blast power there. It's the most super powerful, right? So he uses Fire Blast, and the two dragons and their riders, so everybody gets lit on fire, right? Knocking Sunfire out of the sky. Sunfire just got slashed and then dragon blasted, leaving just the two queens versus Aemon and Granny Vhagar, right? I mean, you don't need me explaining it. Like, it's much better if you guys just watch it, but here, I'll try to make it exciting. So Rhaenys knows that she's a goner, so she's about to leave, and she's like, I better give it one more try. So she turns back around, and for some reason, like, Granny is just hiding somehow, right? So yeah, it's super epic. Granny Vhagar hands grabs them, and they dance all the way to the ground. Oh wait, never mind. Yeah, sorry. So yeah, Granny, yeah, they got this dance dragon thing going on. Vhagar running on the battlefield over all the soldiers is so cool, and it's straight out of like a Godzilla flick, right? I loved it. So Melees and Rhaenys circle back towards Rook's Rest, and that's when Vhagar gets a hold of them and uses Crunch out of nowhere. And I do got a video of this. This isn't another Pokemon one. I actually do have a video of how cool this looks. Yeah, it's super epic. Okay, so yeah, so she grabs a hold out of her and chomps Melees around the neck and doesn't let go until the queens are way high up in the sky, and the Red Queen is pretty much dead, leaving the queen that never was to fall to her death, right? In an explosive impact. It is super crazy. Aemon probably looks down at the destroyed castle and all the death. Cole wakes up because he sucks too much to die early, right? And he scrambles to his feet, touches an ash pile, and then he spots Aemon possibly about to do like a regicide and a kinslaying regicide. Kinslaying regicide would be a great name for an album. And then he yells his name. He's like, Aemon, what are you doing? And it then looks at the barely alive pair of Sunfire and Aegon. And I'm not going to get into any spoilers of what's going to happen with them. But yeah, so I won't say anything. All right, I've been talking too long. Let's get into the differences. I told you, this is a day late, but it's not $1 short. Differences. There is no mention of Alyn Rivers ever giving Daemon potions, especially not weirwood paste. We would have lost our minds back in the day if that happened. Just as the affair between Cole and Alicent is only hinted at, the moon tea isn't in the books. Like, her drinking moon tea isn't in the books. I love this change because I love the hypocrisy there, but yeah, it isn't. Then let's talk about good old Willem Blackwood, the Giga Chad himself. He isn't in the books at all. So Samwell Blackwood is the Lord at the start of the war in the books, and he dies during the Battle of the Burning Mill, slain by Amos Bracken, I believe, in single comment during the Battle of the Burning Mill. I said that twice. But Amos was then struck down by a weirwood arrow, allegedly fired by Samwell's younger sister, Alysanne Blackwood, right? So Samwell's heir is the 11-year-old son, Benjicott Blackwood. So I guess they just made Willem the regent or whoever in charge for Benjicott instead of Alysanne. I said Alysanne earlier, Alysanne maybe. I hope we do meet Bloody Ben and Black Ally soon, though. I love both of those characters. So yeah, they added Willem in. And I'm not sure why, probably just because they introduced him early on. He was pretty cool. But yeah, the other Blackwoods that aren't here yet, they're pretty awesome. And I really hope they don't leave out Black Ally or Bloody Ben, because they're great characters. The Muppets are a little different. I'm talking about House Tully, by the way. So in between, we meet Oscar, the grouchy Tully, and we know of his old grandpa who can't poo or whatever everyone keeps saying about him. Grover and Oscar, right? So in between them is Oscar's dad, Elmo, in the books. And Oscar doesn't decline because, Grover can't decide or doesn't want to or whatever, like in the show. In the books, Grover, the old guy, is Team Green, and Elmo, Oscar's dad, or Oscar's dad is Team Black. So essentially, in the books, Grover's like, we're Team Green. And he goes, call the banners. I'm too old. You have to do it. And Elmo's like, no, I'm not doing that because I'm not that team. So he just waits for his dad to die, and then he will then call him. So they got rid of Elmo is what I'm saying. No more Elmo, and they changed it just a little bit. And then he's pretty much just waiting for his dad to die so he can call Team Black. It's a little dark. The Muppets are a little different. Or I already said that. Sorry. Rook's Rest is pretty close, but still different, except for Aegon. Except Aegon was part of Cole's trap from the beginning, right? So Aegon doesn't just show up to prove that he's a man, right? He was alwaes part of it. So Melee's, so that's one major thing. And the other one is that Melee's gets a bite on Sunfire's neck as Vhagar comes from above and drives the three of them into the ground with only Vhagar getting up. So that's how it ends. It's not quite the same way, right? It's still kind of Aemon being a jerk and hurting his brother, but it's a little less Dracarys-y, right? It's a little less, there. Melee's and Rhaenys die in that way instead. So just a little different. And that's the awesome art I got here is Rhaenys dead. She did. I already say she did. All right, there you guys go. That's the episode. What I think of it, kind of a recap, what I think of it along the way, and then major differences. So yeah, I'm gonna get out of here. Do all that YouTube junk. Thank you. And if you want me to keep making these like weekly, be sure to watch them. If they do well, I'm gonna do them. Right. So yeah, peace.